So again, as we continue, so pag ang tanong, pwede bang mag-enter into adoption process ng mga foreigner? So pwede naman siya, provided that masunod yung mga criteria na kinakailangan as per, of course, as per the RA 11642 at yung sa intercountry adoption law. So if the question is who may be adopted, so ito yung 8 na mga pwedeng mag-undergo or pwedeng sabihin natin na i-adopt. No? So, hindi ko na siya babasahin isa-isa. So, andyan naman siya. So, ano ba? Foster child. Ayan. So, yan yung mga pwede natin i-subject for adoption. So, remember that yan lang mga nandyan ang pwede natin i-subject for adoption. Kapag hindi nakalagay dyan, of course, hindi pwede. Ano pa? So, kinakailangan po ba ng consent for us to, of course, itong para ma-approve yung adoption process? Or kaninong consent ang necessary for adoption? Ito, number 1. No? So, if the adoptee is 10 years of age or over, so kailangan siya. If the biological parent of the child or legal guardian or the proper government instrumentality which has legal custody of the child. So yan, kinakailangan yung kanilang consent. The legitimate and adopted children of the adopter, 10 years of age and over. So the illegitimate children of the adopter, 10 years of age and over if living with the said adopter. Bakit kaya kinakailangan ng mga consent nila? Kasi kung papansinin ninyo, kung hindi natin hihingi ng consent, kasi yung batas meron yung reason eh. Pwedeng mag-cause siya ng gulo sa family or pwede kasing na yung isa na over, kunyari 11 years old na pwedeng maging kapatid sana, hindi niya tanggap. So, magkakaroon ng issue within the family. Ang batas ay hindi hinahayaan na magkaroon ng family, sabihin natin na magka-problema sa pamilya because of adoption. Kaya kinakailangan na may consent nitong mga bata na to. Kahit sabihin natin na, mga bata naman sila, 11 years old lang, bata pa naman yun, minor yun. Kailangan pa ba? Kinakailangan kasi nga, nire-require ng batas for us, syempre, na hindi masira yung family, no, na meron itong mag-aampon. Kasi posible pa rin mangyari yun. So, kinakailangan ng consent nila. Even, tingnan nyo number 4, no? Kahit illegitimate children ng adopter, basta 10 years of age, pataas, kinakailangan ng consent niya. Kasi nga, hindi naman kasi talaga siya madali paliwanag, no? At hindi siya simpleng proseso. Kasi magdadagdag ka ng isang member sa family na hindi mo naman siya, for example, hindi mo nang, dahil nga adopted, so technically, hindi mo siya kadugo. So, hindi siya proseso na madali at hindi siya madaling tanggapin, especially sa mga children na 10 years old, 11 years old, yan, no? Hindi siya simple. So, yun yung reason ng batas kung bakit kinakailangan may consent nila. No, hindi pwedeng gusto lang ng magulang tapos hindi gusto ng mga anak. No? Lalo kung 10 years and pataas nga yan dahil requirement siya because of course nga yun yung sa family. So ano pa, the spouse of the adopter. So importante rin yung consent nila. So tandaan niyo yung mga consent, kung sino yung mga kinakailangan niya ng consent sa process ng adoption. So next question is, can any person may adopt a person? Else, of course, hindi. So, ito lang yung mga pwedeng mag-adopt. Any Filipino citizen of legal age, at least, no, legal age ha, at least 16 years older than the adoptee. Unless the adopter is the biological parent. Na-encounter natin to kanina. Or the spouse of the adoptee's parent. O kaya naman, hindi man Filipino, any alien, no, or foreigner possessing the same qualification as that of the Filipino citizen who has been living in the Philippines for at least 3 consecutive years and whose country has diplomatic relationship with the Philippines. No? So sila yung mga pwedeng mag-adopt. So, kinakailangan sa adoption tong mga requirement na 'to. Una, ito yung tinatawag nating pre-adoption services requirement. Of course, sa part ng biological parent, kinakailangan ng counseling. So, before and after the birth of his or her child. So, ano pa? So, kinakailangan din yung 6 months na period kung saan pupwede pang mabawi yung adoption. Kasi nag-a-adjust yung 6 months na yun, doon nag-a-adjust yung biological parent. So, after 6 months, natapos na yung 6 months, naging irrevocable na yung adoption. So, hindi na pwedeng bawiin ni biological parent yung kanyang anak. So, after niya, nagkakaroon din ng counseling and rehabilitation services doon sa biological parent after syempre, yung after ma-relinquish yung kanyang karapatan doon sa kanyang anak. So, yun yung mga requirement natin. As to the adopted parent, nandiyan yung counseling session, mga seminars, no, na pwedeng ibigay natin sa adopted parent. And yung para alam niya kung paano i-resolve yung mga adoption issues and of course to prepare him or her for effective parenting. So, isa sa mga kinakailangan requirement yan. And of course, for the prospective adoptee, kinakailangan din ng counseling session to ensure that, of course, the adoptee understand the nature and effects of adoption. No, kinakailangan ipaliwanag sa kanya dun sa kanyang level na ito na yung magiging mama niya, ito na yung magiging papa niya, and hindi kasi siya, lalo sa part ng adopting, hindi siya madaling proseso yung pag-adjust na mapupunta ka sa isang family na hindi mo kilala and then mapupunta ka from a family na kilala mo, then mapupunta ka sa family na hindi mo kilala at ngayon mo palang makikilala. So, kaya meron yung adjustment process at may tinatawag dyan. Later, ma-encounter nyo yung term na yun. No? So, okay, so, ano pa? So, what is the procedure for adoption when parents of the child are unknown? So, ito nga yun. Kunyari, hindi natin kilala yung magulang ng bata. It's the duty of the DSWD or the child pleasing or child caring agency to exert effort, no, to locate nasaan kaya ang biological parent ng bata na to. Again, yung sinasabi natin iniwan kunyari sa simbahan, sa labas ng bahay ni Judy Ann, sa labas ng simbahan, trabaho nilang alamin sino ang biological parent ng bata na to. Ngayon, syempre, pagtatanong na yan, no, usually, tinatanong yan dun sa malapit dun sa lugar, no, para malaman kung sino yung magulang. So, kung hindi talaga makita or hindi talaga matagpuan, again, yun nga yung tinatawag na natin siyang, register na natin as funding yung bata na yun. And then, doon na siya pwedeng i-declare na as abandoned child. So, what's the procedure on adoption? Na, of course, na-discuss naman natin, but according to the statement, lahat ng procedure for adoption, the court shall require proof that the biological parent has been properly counseled to prevent him or her from making hurried decision caused by strain or anxiety to give up the child, and to sustain that all measures to strengthen the family have been exhausted, that any prolonged state of the child in his or her home will be inimical to his or her welfare and interest. So, very important tong paragraph na to sa process or sa procedure ng adoption. Hindi kasi po pwede na madaliin si biological parent, no? Kasi hindi siya madaling process, no? Ako as a parent, ang hirap i-give up ng anak mo, no? Mahirap yun. Unless talagang yun nga, willing, yun napag-aralan talaga. So again, another thing na kailangan sa process ng adoption is a case study. So, yung case study, ginagawa to establish whether he or she or the adoptee is legally available for adoption. No? At yung mga documents ay talagang valid and authentic. So, totoo, no? Hindi yung pineke. And then, of course, some case study po ay ginagawa to ascertain the genuine intention of the adopter and that the adoption is in the best interest of the child. Kaya yung case study is another requirement before magkaroon tayo ng adoption proceedings. So ito yung minimension ko sa inyo, yung supervised trial custody. So yung supervised trial custody, it refers to the period of time after the placement of a child in an adoptive home na magkakaroon ng wherein an adoption social worker helps the adopted family and the child in the adjustment process to facilitate the legal union through adoption. So hindi pwedeng mag-grant ng any adoption until magkaroon ng supervised trial custody for at least 6 months. So wherein sa loob ng 6 months, nagkaroon ng adjustment psychologically and emotionally to each other and establish a bonding relationship. So during that period, magkakaroon ng temporary parental authority doon sa adopter. Kasi nga, ano yan eh, trial period yan. So, yan ay adjustment period. Ang tawag natin dyan again ay supervised trial custody. So, of course, para malaman no, kung swak ba, no, nagmamatch ba, okay ba, no, or tama ba, no, okay ba yung family na nagkaroon ba ng good adjustment or sabihin natin na nag-swap yung family na kinalagyan nitong si adoptee. So, pag ang tanong at what are the legal effects of an adoption decree? Of course, sa parental authority, nawawala ang legal ties sa biological parent at napupunta yun sa adoptee, no? So, yun yung isang effect sa parental authority. Ano pa? Sa legitimacy, the adoptee, of course, shall be considered na legitimate na, no? Legitimate son or daughter of the adopters. For all intents and purposes, siya ay legitimate son or daughter without any discrimination of any kind. So as to succession, pareho lang, no? Parang yung kanilang karapatan pagdating sa mga mana and other rights na meron ang legitimate ay meron din ang adoptee. So reciprocal rights ang meron pagdating sa succession. So hindi siya pwedeng i-discriminate porket sabihin ng yung kadugo, anak na talagang may dugo ay ako anak talaga ako kasi biological parent ko, ikaw di ba dinaan ka lang sa adoption. When it comes to succession, pareho lang. Kasi yung sa pagtingin ng batas ang tinitingnan natin, though they are not relative by blood, pero sila ay dumaan sa procedure ng adoption, legal siyang tinitingnan, siya ay anak, no? Siya ay anak, no? Kasi dumaan siya sa process ng adoption. So, ang exception lang dito, syempre, kung yung adoptee ay of course, kung merong will, no? O law on testamentary succession. Ibig sabihin, may iniwan, no? Yung magulang na talagang sa biological lang niya ibibigay. Siyempre, yun yung exception to the rule. So, that's an exception. So, can the adopted child rescind the adoption? Pwede daw ba na ang adopted child ay i-rescind niya ang adoption? So, pwede naman siya, no? But it should be done upon petition of the adoptee with the assistance of the DSWD if minor pa or if over 18 years of age pero incapacitated, no? The adoption may be rescinded on any of the following grounds committed by the adopters. So, ito yung mga grounds. No? So, what are the grounds for rescission of adoption? Ito yun. No? So, nagkaroon ng repeated physical and verbal maltreatment by the adopter. Ano pa? Attempt on the life of the adoptee. Siyempre, nandiyan na yan, no? Hindi pwedeng ituloy kapag gano'n. I mean, pwedeng i-rescind yung adoption kapag gano'n. Sexual assault or violence, abandonment and failure to comply with parental obligations. So, yun yung mga incidents na pwedeng i-rescind ni adoptee ang adoption. So, of course, kung magpapa-assist siya sa DSWD na office. Parang yun lang naman. So, that ends the presentation. So, we talk about adoption. And next meeting or the next discussion, we will talk about the different rights, no, which protects children, no? Hindi na siya iikot sa adoption, but of course, siguro yung pinaka-salient provision lang ng Republic Act 7610, no? And yung sabihin natin na portrayal ng Republic Act 9344, kung paano huhulihin ang isang bata na nakagawa ng delinquency. So, paano siya hinuhuli ng isang police officer, for example. No? So, yun yung assignment or activity ninyo.